Let me say that our speaker tonight is Tom Griffin from the Virginia Green Program. And I know he's a surf fisherman, but he has a lot of other credentials that are very impressive. Tom, would you mind introducing yourself and then go into your presentation?
Sure. Well, I don't know if I have too much that's impressive, other than the fact that I've been doing this for a while. I actually have been, in the environmental field, forever. And I worked for the Department of Environmental Quality for 16 years, a couple of other agencies in there, state parks and the Council on the Environment, and done a lot of different things on the environmental side of things, from wetlands to permitting to, you name it. But really my true love was when I fell into working for the Office of Pollution Prevention. So, regulations are certainly a big part of protecting the environment. But I loved it from the beginning that I started working there, because we were working, this is dating back 20 some years ago, I guess. I know I don't look it right. But anyhow, in working with business and industry to not only just make them compliant with regulations, but to really look at the cause of why they were being regulated. To look at the waste that was being produced, the emissions and things that were coming off their process, especially in a manufacturing and industry perspective. And we really tried to hone in on finding solutions and asking questions like, why do you produce the waste in the first place? Why do you use so much energy? And really going back and looking at innovation and techniques and new equipment and things like that, and helping folks not only reduce their environmental impacts, but save money as well. So, that's sort of been one of the, that's been the hallmark of the Office of Pollution Prevention. Granted, it's usually only staffed with we were up anywhere from 4 to 10 folks, but, we've worked, in the regional offices and things to really kind of put a different perspective on things. And so where I was tasked to do is work with various industries. I worked, to promote the various EPA voluntary programs and things that were out there. We worked on different sectors from anywhere from auto salvage yards to, to dental offices. I mean, all the kind of just random things that aren't really overly regulated, but actually still have some big environmental impacts. Trying to motivate them to do things on their own. That, again, help the environment and hopefully save them a little money along the way. And the hospitality industry I can vividly see it when we were at an EPA meeting and we were talking about the environmental impacts of the hospitality industry. But there's no way that inspectors can go out and inspect every, we have 2,200 hotels in this state alone. And, they don't have huge hazardous waste. They have some, they have a lot actually, but it's not to the level of them being regulated or at least certainly not having a permit. And so what we decided to do was to create a voluntary approach to promote and recognize those folks that were doing the right thing. And so that's what this program is all about. And I fell in love with it, the industry itself, because these are really good folks who are really trying to do the right thing. They're trying to please people. That's what this industry is all about. However, they don't have any environmental training. There's nobody on staff with the title of environmental manager or sustainability expert, when you're running a hotel or a restaurant. So what we've done is we've tried to move the entire industry along. And so that's what I'm going to tell you about as soon as I share my screen. Let's see. All right, let's see. Always takes a second to load up here, and there we go. All right, there we are. There we are together. All right. So I'm really excited to be here with you all. Rockbridge Area Conservation Council. I didn't know too much about you all. I've worked a little bit with in and around the area. I've certainly worked a good bit with Natural Bridge down the road. We helped get them and all those facilities over there certified in conjunction with the state park. State parks taking over those properties. But really, what we're all about here is we're a state program. And so I'm just excited when Cliff, reached out to me and said, hey, we'd like to have you come speak, because really we're a state level program, but a lot of this is much more meaningful at the local level. And when I looked at you all's website and looked at your newsletters and things and all of the good things that you're doing locally, that's what's really meaningful to people, the people that you're meeting on the street and talking to, and trying to solve problems and make your community a better place. So here we are anyhow, supporting sustainable tourism. That's the mission of our program. These are the core partners that are involved. Virginia's for Lovers, Virginia Tourism. So that's pretty amazing. The Department of Environmental Quality and the VRLTA, Virginia Restaurant Lodging and Travel Association. And this is pretty exciting. I'm telling you all, you're the first people hearing about this basically, but we're going to be announcing this. It'll probably be first of next week that's Virginia State Parks is going to be one of our core partners in the program. All right. And actually, let's see, Barbara, if you do have, I have this on a presentation mode where I can't see people's faces. All of a sudden, I hit the wrong button, I think. So just yell at me if you have a question and need to interject, okay?
Good enough.
All right. So here is our marketing partner, basically. Virginia's for Lovers. We are green tourism in Virginia. This is their landing page. It's pretty amazing. You can plan your entire green vacation in Virginia. And that's what we're trying to do, is reach out to consumers. And also, basically the tourism corporation is saying, hey, if you come to Virginia, anywhere you go in Virginia, you can choose to go green, because they know they look at the survey information on TripAdvisor. They look at all the trends, and really more and more every year, travelers are making decisions based on green and sustainability. And, just even now we did a big thing with millennials a couple of years ago. We've moved on to Generation X and Z and whatever it is right now. But the expectations there are off the charts for sustainability. Sometimes they don't necessarily jump up and down about it, but someone goes into a restaurant that cares about this sort of thing, sees styrofoam on the table or coming out with them as a to-go order, they don't go back. And that's just what we hear time and time again from the younger generations. But anyhow, planning your green vacation, that's our marketing arm. Then we have DEQ. This is where the program started, certainly. And we created this partnership that's pretty unique. And we've achieved a lot. And DEQ is still to this day, they help us run the certification process. They do the research and things for new innovative techniques and projects. And they keep me in line, making sure that I am not, I am certifying and keeping up the standards of the program. And you see that Ask Virginia Green. They are our technical advisors as well. They're literally available to even come out on site and help you. I used to do so much of that before the pandemic myself as well, but it's awesome to have those folks as part of as a huge part of our program. And
we've got a question, Tom, that relates to your comment on vacationing and a green vacation.
Sure.
The question is, do you know if Airbnb or any of those type of businesses have a green filter in their model?
Yes. So, so we are working with Google right now. So we are considered outside of, that's one of the things we want to get to. We want to get to the point where it's not just, when you're out on Yelp or Google or whatever, and when you're looking for a restaurant, we want our green restaurants to be one of the ways that you can filter that. So the answer is we're getting there. But right now we are at least, part of that network. And if you go to like Virginia's for Lovers anyhow, You filter for that, and you say B&B, green B&Bs, and that's all you're going to get. So yeah, so that's valuable, not just to the B&Bs, but the hotels themselves as well. This day and age, if you are any hotel that hosts conferences and meetings, okay, well, not most, but I used to ask, hey, how many RFPs have you gone after that, that say they require green meetings? This is 10 years ago. And the answer was, oh yeah, we've had a couple, one or two. Yeah. Now, when you ask them, they're like, most of them have it, of these, any larger groups. There is a specification that says, yes, we need recycling. Yes, we need to be green certified. And so many times, folks aren't even seeing the RFPs from these other places because they are searching our site. So we are considered, like, numbers wise, to be the number one, in terms of numbers in the program, versus any other state. There are 27 similar state programs like ours. All right, so let me see, get back into, pop me out of this. All right, are we seeing my presentation now? It's probably.
Yes, it's not full screen yet.
Yeah. There we go. Well, now I got to go back to this.
That's pretty good.
Oh, you can see it now?
Yep.
I've got some weird note page, but see if that works. Okay. All right. So the VRLTA, they're great as well because they put us, directly, they're the trade association. So they put us directly in touch with the industry. They help us. We have a suppliers network as well. And they help us, develop educational offerings. So then there's us, okay, the Travel Alliance. So about 5-6 years ago, we spun this off. We created this because we wanted an arm of the program that could lead the program that wasn't just these state agencies that were kind of, didn't have the flexibility to move certain initiatives forward and advance the overall concept of sustainable tourism in the state. So, we administer the Virginia Green Travel Certification, which is really the core of what we do. But, now we're kind of free. We're social media and we're doing staff level education. And certainly we run our conference and awards program, which is pretty robust. And these are the overall program goals from almost the very beginning, is that we increase awareness within the industry. We feel like we've done a pretty darn good job with that, that most, at least hotels and things like that, are aware that there is a Virginia Green program out there if they want to be recognized as a green facility. But increasing awareness with customers, that's the customer interface part. I wish everybody walking down Main Street knew who we were. And and by and large, when you do get more and more folks that are in the program and we're branding it with placards and things in people's windows, or you're going to festivals and events that have our logo, people begin to realize, oh, this facility, this organization has made some commitments for the environment. So it's certainly reducing environmental impacts. And I mentioned it's also focused on cost savings, but hopefully even increased business for folks who appreciate what these businesses are doing. And then making Virginia a green tourism destination. Like I said, this is what tourism wants to be able to say, that we are ahead of the curve in Virginia. We're linking our green certified hotels and places to stay with all of the wonderful outdoor recreational opportunities that are available as well, and scenic beauty and all that. So this is what we've done. 1,924 Virginia Green partners. Good many of those are green festivals and events, but still, you're looking at nearly over 1,300 businesses that have certified their environmental commitments with our program. And it's not just, going through, the motions with it. These are real measurable results, and we don't actually push people real hard on the reporting side of things. These are mostly results that come to us through our robust awards program. We do have some voluntary reporting that folks do. So this is pretty conservative in and of itself, but, and also some real cost savings that we're documenting. And these are annual results. Now, the core of this is our Virginia Green Travel Certification Program. You see there that people get their logos and put them on the wall, and we have things in the door and behind the counter and all that. But what it's really all about is going through, it's essentially, I mean, probably many of you here with us, almost everyone is familiar with the term LEED certification. And we are not at that level because we knew the tourism industry wasn't really ready for it. We wanted to move them forward, at least in the right direction. However, we like to say basically all the concepts of LEED, all the techniques are in there. And we even get more specific, and we have the ability to really provide more examples and links to case studies. And so it's meant to be kind of like a teaching tool. And you see there that we have one level of commitment level and another one at fully certified. So I'll touch on that a little bit here too. Let's see. So 2 levels of certification, commitment level and fully certified. At the commitment level, you basically can make kind of larger general commitment. So this is kind of like our overall structure for the program. And for commitment, you just have to be able to check off the boxes. We do have some thou shalts requirements, and those are the ones that are up front. And the other ones are, real commitments, but they're a little bit, less specific. So recycling, if you have comprehensive recycling in your region, and I know that you all are struggling with that in Rockbridge, I know that that's, we're going through a changing market with recycling statewide even. And so it's different wherever you go. But if you do have a comprehensive recycling program in place, it is required that you be part of that. And that, you can, like it says there, you can explain if you're unable to recycle certain things for some reason. So just, we are flexible in that regard and reasonable. We do have a polystyrene ban. We're not very flexible about that. Sometimes we'll let folks use everything they bought, maybe, so we can talk about that. And then we kind of have a new requirement here relative to pollution from single-use plastics. It's been something we've been focusing on. And we're not saying you have to get rid of all your single-use plastics to be in the program, but we do have a couple of different things. We have a Skip the Straw campaign that we're working with. And this is actually, whoops, I went forward, a new piece of regulation that prohibits the practice of balloon releases at any outdoor event. So we have adopted that as a firm requirement as well. Energy conservation, water conservation. These are sections where there are all kinds of different techniques that you can use. You have to be able to check off 2, 3, 4 of them in order to qualify for the full certification commitment level. You just, it's just the initial commitment. Sorry, I couldn't see that last one. And the last ones are green meetings. I'm trying to move my bar here. I can't even see my own stuff. There we go. Green meetings and events. So if you are hosting things, everything from just, a meeting like of your board or something like that, we're just encouraging you to make a pledge to do what you can to recycle, not have polystyrene, as part of those events. Or maybe it's helping, your locality or community moving forward in that level. And the consumer engagement basically just means let people know you're in the program, tell people about what you're doing and be proud of it.
Tom,
Yes.
we have a comment. Rebecca points out that VMI has a state mandate to reduce their plastic use. They're a state school, and WNL is also has a program to reduce plastic. But because the city has reduced our recycling here, the universities don't have a way to take care of recyclables. So you've identified, a conundrum for some of these institutions that are really, would like to be able to do more,
Yes.
but the service isn't available. I would also just note that your slide is bleeding off the edges a bit, and I don't know if you can adjust the size or anything like that to get it back on, but that would don't undo anything, but if you can, it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I can back out of it again here and try it again. Of course, you're seeing the whole page now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I have an opportunity to try one more setting when it puts me back in there. Yeah, and Executive Order 77. Yep, very familiar with it. And that really has gotten the attention of all the state agencies out there. Is that looking a little better?
It looks great.
Okay, all right, I'll keep it on the notes pages then. Right. Yeah, so yeah, they all have to develop plans. I mean, the colleges and universities, yeah, that's one where, you know, so many of those folks also, well, they have concessions for football games and basketball and everything else. And, you know, and the way that reads is they're supposed to be getting rid of the single-use plastics over the course of, you know, 2 and 3 years. So that will be an interesting one to see that pan out for sure. But again, you know, like our program itself, we understand that things are going to be different wherever you go around the state, and that we just have to be reasonable. I think you and I were talking about it before. It's like if I have a facility, especially like a B&B or something that's, you know, way out, you know, in a rural area, it doesn't make sense environmentally for them to take all of their recycling, 35 miles away, you know, in a truck, if it's only just a few bags, et cetera. So we are reasonable about those types of things, and we just encourage them to do what they can and, you know, make runs when they're going to get other supplies or something like that. So, you know, the rest of what they're doing is important as well, as far as the program is concerned. So anyhow, let's see. All right, so we're back to, these are some of our certification program partners. And the point here is simply that, you know, we're working with lots of different partners statewide. We are the statewide program, and we're trying to like provide resources for our program partners at the local level. But, you know, we're trying to feed them the information that they might need, let them know that certain things might be available. The Virginia Oyster Shell Recycling Program, for instance, is not available in Lexington yet, but you know, certainly in areas that are closer, you know, to Hampton Roads, et cetera, that's a very viable option. But we also, you know, try and engage our various other program partners to utilize steel, what resources they have, and even and support the activities. And you know, all of us are kind of working together with similar goals, but you know, we are focused primarily just on the tourism industry, of course. But you know, this is, I mentioned this before, we have a Skip the Straw campaign. We're working pretty closely with the Virginia, it's the Plastics Pollution Prevention Network, which is a pretty neat campaign that just started about a year ago. And that's just been a great way that, you know, all these other organizations are communicating and learning more from each other about what they're doing to reduce single-use plastics. All right, greening of festivals and events is another area that we've done a lot in. We really, you know, we were helping some of the festivals and events across the state, but we really wanted to get in there and kind of figure out what this was all about, what it really meant. And so we rolled up our sleeves, and we have worked with a lot of festivals and events. You know, I'm in the Richmond region, so a lot of them have been in this basic area. But, you know, and what we developed out of that was the Sustainable Event Guide. Again, things are going to be different wherever you go around the state, but, you know, that's a nice resource that people are using. We have a leadership training program at the staff level that we've only done this manually, but we actually have contracted. We are doing this as an online system that will hopefully be launched by the end of the year. So that now if you join the Virginia Green program, you have the ability to get your staff to go through a 20 to 30-minute tutorial. And at the end of that tutorial, they get to like take a quiz at the end. And if they pass, they get so that, you know, they get a certification. So it's actually like, you know, career advancement even, but it's also helping you because now everybody knows that this is something that your facility really cares about. One of the things we've had over the years is like, you know, you'll have a great manager or something who fills out the paperwork and is very strong about the program, but they're just constantly fighting to get their staff on board as well. So that we think that's something that's really going to make an impact. And then we also have a Green Team Leadership Training Program. That's for folks who would potentially lead the greening initiative, the development of a plan, so that you all you're keeping your certification requirements up, but year to year you're continuously improving. You've got a plan that says, hey, let's do 2 more projects this year. Let's take on the next thing that makes sense. Let's see if we can start a pilot compost project this fall, and we'll see how it goes through the holiday season, and we'll evaluate. Because that's how organizations continue to move forward and improve. And lastly, the Green Meeting Professionals training is really almost like a real career advancement type opportunity, so that folks really know how to sell themselves as a green facility and how to make it easy for all these entities and organizations that are being asked, well, they're being told, we need to have, if we're going to have a conference, we can't show up and not have recycling in place, because our organization has already made a lot of commitments relative to sustainability. So we really need to be walking the walk, for what we're talking about. So, and then we have one of the best things we do. We've been doing this. This is will be our 9th year doing our Virginia Green Travel Conference and Travel Star Awards. It's a 2-day event. Of course, we've done it virtually the last couple of years and pulled that off as well. But a wonderful event with technical workshops and keynote speakers. And we usually have the First Lady of Virginia is usually there to present our awards with us. And so that's been a really nice asset for our program partners as well. And we've, like I said, we've got a very robust awards program. Just this past year, you see right up the street from you all, we were able to recognize Natural Bridge State Park for their new Children's Discovery Area with one of our leader awards. We also recognized Jenny Elms with Full Circle Catering. She's just been doing some great things. I think she's won some sort of award with us. I think this is at least her 3rd year. And
can you mention, Tom, I'm sorry, can you mention who you worked with at Natural Bridge State Park? Is there a particular person you worked with there?
Well, I actually, I work centrally with the state parks marketing coordinator, who is Nancy Heltman. And the individual projects are submitted, and the Department of Environmental Quality actually handles all that for us.
Okay.
They actually run the program for us because they're evaluating the technical aspects of what's submitted. Now, and then of course, then there's the Environment Virginia Conference. We talked about it a little bit about it before. I've been going there for probably, upwards of 20 years, as kind of one of the lead environmental conferences in the state. And probably 10 or 12 years ago, they weren't so good environmentally themselves, even from the standpoint of being a green event. So we have worked with them over time, and they have really impressed us, just how each year they work harder to do better. They're certainly, you see there, they're composting food waste and things. And so, yeah, they were our Green Conference of the Year in 2019. All right, so that's kind of the program at the state level, right? We've done very well overall, and certainly we're there for the industry, and we could certainly even do more to make the industry even more aware, and so we have lots of different programs that we're working on. But really, you all out there, you all are the folks within the community that really care about the environment, and we want you all to realize that you have green certified tourism facilities in your community. And we would love it for you all to just think of it as your program. Take all the credit for the folks that are green certified out there, the folks that are winning awards, and use it as an opportunity to recognize those other business partners that are doing the right thing, and that you support. I mean, you go to these businesses because they might have great food, but hopefully they also are doing right by the environment, and that they care about protecting the environment and your community. So that we have this, what's called our Travel Chapters program. And you see the folks that are listed there, they've made commitments to annually, set goals. They help us. Yeah.
Sorry again, Tom. It's a little awkward. We're not seeing that slide, actually.
Kidding. Okay. All right. Try this again. Sorry. So funny how it changes on us.
Yeah, it's got a mind of its own tonight.
How about that?
Now, okay, so now we're seeing the Green Travel Chapters program.
Yay! You mean the stuff I've been babbling about? Yeah.
Terrific.
Yeah. Anyhow, so these are our folks who are recognized. They've simply made a commitment. It's not this huge thing. It's not like we have an office in all these localities, but we do have partners mostly at the local tourism level that have made a commitment to help us. And so they're promoting their green tourism. They're promoting the fact that they have a green tourism program because they have businesses in their community that are certified with our program. So it's kind of like, the way I kind of sell it is like, hey, wouldn't it be nice to promote green tourism locally in your community? And guess what? We'll run the program for you. You don't have to hire anybody new. You just need to take credit for it. And so that's what, our program partners are doing here. I can go to the next slide. Really is getting stuck a lot. I don't know why. There we go. All right. So this is, for instance, this is Richmond Region Tourism. And they have 140 certified facilities in the region. That's a huge region, right? I mean, it encompasses like, I think we have 7, if not 8 counties in the program. And we've done a lot with green festivals and events in the area, but you see there on the right, this is on their website, the eco-friendly visit to Richmond, Virginia. And so basically you're on their website and then you can plan your green vacation same way as you can on the Virginians for Lovers website. And we have been the ones who've certified these folks and populated this website for folks. So it's just one of the resources that they have from a tourism standpoint. This is Chesapeake. They've also got a bunch of folks. And so, they are helping us with recruiting each year, and they certify through their Parks and Rec and Tourism department, they certify all of their community-wide events. They do a great job of promoting the program. And that's just at a different kind of level. So we just sort of leave it up to each chapter as to what they want to do. And then this is Sustainable Virginia Beach. This is how they've chosen to slice it. And, we are again, the core of what they've done there. And they've got over 100 certified partners in Virginia Beach. Now, there's you guys.
Ah.
Aha. So some of you might not be aware even of some of these. And, and some of these, one of the things that we do with our chapters is they help us keep up to date with some of these folks. Sometimes the contacts change. Sometimes people go out of business. Sometimes they change their name, right? We were talking about that earlier. But you do have 20 certified Virginia Green Travel partners. And, maybe that's not a whole lot, but it certainly is something. And, I can see you all having a landing page that talks about it a little bit. And from a Main Street standpoint, we were talking earlier about, wouldn't it be nice if when you were on Main Street and you saw the various businesses that were there, that many of them were green certified, because then if you're a visitor to Lexington, you go, wow, I've seen that Virginia Green logo in a bunch of windows here. That is pretty cool that, this community is moving in that direction and has that type of commitment to the environment. We also were talking, the question was, well, can, a clothing shop or can the farmer's market or a spa, could they be Virginia Green certified? And my answer there is basically, if you think you're part of tourism, if you're part of your local tourism industry, then yes, there's a spot for you, because we kind of have an all-in-one application. Some of it's geared towards hotels, you skip over that part. Some of it's geared towards wineries, you skip over that part. But attractions is kind of like kind of, just the general type of category where you would, most of those things would apply to you. So, I'm just here to help teach you a little bit more about the program. I'm hoping a spark will light and that you guys might be interested in, it doesn't have to be as a travel chapter. It could just be that you decide, all right, let's start a little initiative. Let's set a goal to get some of this material out to some of our businesses in the Lexington area. And again, so here's kind of this is really the more structured thing that we're asking. It's just, it's the same sort of checklist type deal as a travel chapter: support and promote, recruit, encourage others, feedback and referrals, festivals and events. Let's do what we can there. Setting annual goals and really kind of updating your contact list is really the only real structural difference in things. But, we're hoping that, maybe you do get to a point where you feel like you can create a landing page that talks about how you all are proud to be a Virginia Green travel chapter, or you could just consider yourself a supporting organization. So we have, another type of, it's another checklist that is about the same sort of thing, really. It's just doesn't have this kind of structured planned. And I say planned, again, it's a checklist where you fill in and, write down your ideas for how you're going to promote the program in the coming year. And that just creates some structure for all of us so that we'll know what you're doing. And of course, that's how any plan, is effective, that you check on it each year and make sure that you're doing things. And so you don't get 3 years down the road and realize, you've just kind of ignored that commitment. So, again, pretty loose. Support certified partners with your business. So again, it's up to you all, but we would love to have you all do something a little structured, whether it's through the Rockbridge Area Conservation Council, or maybe it's in partnership with, your Main Street program and the tourism office as well. All right, so that is me babbling on for how long? What?
You've done a good job.
Too long, so I couldn't see the time.
No, perfect. Thank you. That was marvelous. That was marvelous. We do have some time for questions, though. So I hope we can take advantage of you being here to ask those questions. If anybody has questions, you can either type them into the chat, or if you'd like to turn your video on and raise your hand or something, we can recognize you that way. Just to get us started, you did mention that businesses that might not be traditionally thought of as tourism, like, the restaurants and hotels and conference centers would be, are eligible for the program. And I noticed on your list of who's already certified in the Lexington area that the Washington and Lee Dining Hall was, and that kind of perked my curiosity. So I mean, obviously they're feeding students to the, mostly, but can you, are there any businesses that serve the public that would not be eligible for this?
Well, again, I'd say that the magic question, if you think you're part of tourism, then we will let you in, basically. And the dining halls actually have been a real, I didn't see it coming either. I think U of R dining was kind of the first one, about 10 years ago, where they just said, hey, well, we see that this is for restaurants. Can we be part of this? And now it's really a big stronghold for us. And I mean, I could go down the list. I'd probably have to think more about the colleges that aren't in, of the major colleges. But it's Tech, UVA, JMU, we have, and they're making, of course, dining is not the same way anymore. Maybe a little bit is over at BMI in Washington and Lee, but most of these colleges are essentially housing 20 and 30 restaurants, in their buildings. They're franchise restaurants. And so, they're kind of coming in with the, the ideas of what they do as a brand even. But yet the colleges are saying, you're going to recycle, you're going to get rid of your styrofoam if you want it continue your lease in our facilities. So it's been pretty neat to see that growth. And, it tells us that the colleges, want to be part of this movement as well.
Mhm. And speaking of dining, one of the waste streams they have, of course, is waste food or excess food. And you did mention composting. Is that one of the checklist items that you might be encouraging businesses for whom that would be relevant to look into or to adopt?
Yes, we have, and it is not a requirement of the program. I mean, recycling is, composting is not, but we are moving that direction. And I mean, I think it would kind of be along those lines of, I don't know, it's still probably a couple of years down the road. It's not readily available in here or other places, but I mean, Richmond, it really is kind of. So we're working with a lot of facilities and documenting how well hotels. I have 3 hotels in Richmond that are doing it, and they love it because once you've switched to all compostables and as far as your disposables and you put more of an emphasis on using real cutlery and not having as many disposables, it becomes pretty easy because most everything that's going in the trash is compostable. So it gets picked up by the commercial hauler, just goes to a different place and comes back in a bag of compost. So pretty neat there. But what we do have, it's certainly on the checklist, and there's some more information. We try to keep the checklist pretty simple, but it's also a learning tool. So there are some different points there about how to run a good composting program. So hoping that moves forward more and more.
So if a business is in a place where they can't recycle because there's no program, let's say, does the program help them learn about alternatives to using, let's say, plastics that would have to be recycled? And the second part of this question is, do you have any information about suppliers and vendors where businesses could go to get these products that might not be available through every distributor?
Right. Let me just start by saying, I have one more thing. I knew I forgot something, the compost piece. And that simply is that, when folks fill out our checklist, it's not one of those, all or nothing things to check the compost box, but you get more credit for it, basically. We actually generate, we document the fact, and we even have a profile that we develop for folks that's available to the public. And we've got a new gyration of our certification website where that actually will be available online for the public to look at. So you can see exactly what folks have, the commitments they've made. But also through our awards program, it's probably the easiest way to win an award in one of our categories is to start composting that year. It's really one of those things that, and then you tell your customers about that too. And it's just one of those things that blows their socks off. We're definitely encouraging folks to take that next step. Yeah, you're doing some great things behind the scenes, but let's do some things and make sure you tell the story to your customers. Now, relative to suppliers and products and things, we do actually have a suppliers part of what we do. And you might have seen on the slide, we've actually registered 59 suppliers to date. Some of them are active, some of them are very active and they're exhibitors and things in our conference each year. So we don't necessarily, we put them out in front of folks. We give them our logo, we encourage them, we give them the list of our certified partners, and they're then reaching out to our partners for sales. And so that's a great little combination there, that you've got businesses that are like-minded, or at least know where you're coming from. The salesperson knows that you are a hotel who cares about the environment because you're green certified, so they know not to try and sell you the stuff that's not very sustainable. So that is a nice piece to that. We do, I wish we had more staff to kind of solve problems at the very local level, but when I can, we try and put suppliers and the right folks together, especially when they reach out to us and say, hey, we're really looking for a new brand of compostable stuff that is affordable, and that stuff. The answers there are that it is becoming more affordable, and especially the fact that you can basically, even if you're working with the PFG, who's one of our suppliers and up and down in Cisco and some of the bigger food distributors, they're also stocking the stuff and the prices come way down. So it is, sometimes you have to look a little bit, certainly to find these products locally, but by and large, it's just amazing how it's so, I mean, we were talking 5 years ago, I would have said it's so hard, and I'm going to really do what I can to find one or two good sources for you. But I think really the local sales force is usually your best source right now.
We have a comment from one of the attendees who wonders if we might say something about the Caught Green-Handed program. Rebecca or Gretchen, do you want to say a word about that? And how does that relate to this state program, if it does?
Right. Well, that's what I want to know. That's why I asked that. So, Tom, just recently, we started with restaurants. We hope to expand beyond there. It's a collaboration between RACC's Waste Reduction Committee and the Main Street Lexington program that Rebecca was talking about, to recognize local Main Street businesses that are doing some of the same things you're describing. The city just recently drastically reduced our recycling program. There was a Caught Green-Handed program in the past that was aimed to encourage recycling, but because now that isn't an option for us, we're more aimed at waste reduction. So things like compostable containers, not offering plastic utensils unless the customer asks for it, not automatically sticking a straw in a drink, selling drinks that come in cans and glass instead of plastic. There are some other criteria that I'm not able to pull out of my head right now. And so the reason that as I heard you talk, I thought, well, it sounds like our criteria, because we don't have recycling of plastic here in Lexington, are actually at a more demanding standard than the Virginia Green. And I guess I just wondered, is there a way for localities based on their recycling abilities to, like, if say a restaurant gets Caught Green-Handed in Lexington, wouldn't they automatically then be a part of the Virginia Green, or do they have to go through the whole application process? Or is there a way to blend things locally? I'm not sure I'm forming the question properly.
Yeah, no, I get it completely, and I'm excited to work with you about this, Gretchen. So if you all are working with somebody who meets those criteria, now our program is focused on the whole sustainability model. So it's like, it's not just the waste reduction piece, it's energy, and water, and just kind of, sustainable. Well, you are addressing sustainable.
Right.
Products.
And all of that is waste reduction in our minds, but we're starting with the single-use plastics. We're hoping to, expand from there.
Sure. Well, all I can say is, I'd love to talk with you more about that. I think if we could develop, we've done this with some of our other partner organizations. We work with other local environmental groups that are doing something across the board. We create reciprocal relationships with them, basically, that says, okay, if you're doing this, as long as you just look at this short version of our form that touches on energy and water also. If you can fill out a little bit there and you're doing all those other things, well, we feel good about recognizing you. Now, the recycling piece of things, we would probably include something in the acceptance that we encourage you to do what you can, and that maybe even, through the downtown services, et cetera, maybe there's a cardboard area. Maybe there's, right. Maybe there's some sort of system in place where people can take something, else, paper or whatever, to a central location, even if it's, not right downtown. So yeah, we can work on those things. And what we do there is, we need to watch the integrity of our program. So we would just, we would have those caveats on our end, and we might say, you know, we would work it out. Like, for instance, I have hotels now. Some of them have gone regionally to these all-in-one trash and recycling service providers. Terrible idea, by the way. But I mean, there are, there's several of them. I think they're kind of moved out of vogue in the Charlottesville region. But there was one operator who's still doing that in the Tidewater region. And I'm like, and I said, okay, well, if that's what you're doing, that really is your system, because what you end up with a lot of contamination. But at least if that's your program, you need to, because now when they're at your hotel and you're not showing a recycling container right there next to the trash container, and you're saying that it's all in one, well, they think you're not recycling. So you need to have a little sign there that says, we use an all-in-one recycler. And that's how we achieve recycling. So, you know, as long as we can have some component that helps explain the program and protect it. And I don't mean to say that we have this huge integrity thing, but it is a certification, and we do need to maintain that level.
Right. And I just want to stress that if you're reducing plastic waste, then you don't need to recycle it. Like if you don't have plastic waste, like that seems better than recycling. And that we do have other recycling, glass and cardboard. It's better than nothing. Or I'm sorry, tin, metals and cardboard, not
Okay,
glass.
good. Well, and Gretchen, yeah, like I would say, I completely agree with waste reduction first. And I actually, when I'm working individually with somebody, I allow them to kind of like, we talk about recycling rates or whatever. Let's talk about landfill diversion rates. If you can establish the fact that you think you were producing 100 pounds a week of trash, and now you've reduced it down to 60 pounds of trash a week, but you're not recycling because you don't have recycling available. Well, you've still achieved the same goal. So
right. Perfect. Okay. So it sounds like you and Rebecca, or you and Rebecca and I should maybe converse eventually about,
sure.
I don't know what Rebecca's thinking, but about just communicating so that those businesses that get recognized under one might be able to also get recognized under the other.
Yes, I agree with you, Gretchen.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I'm
Awesome.
just muted.
That's great.
If you have a flyer that's going out, for this, caught green-handed piece, we would love to be able to say, and, if you're part of this, then you can also be part of the Virginia Green Program.
Oh, actually, that's actually great to hear, Tom. We have a brochure. It's a little trifold that we do in-house. So it would be great to have some verbiage that is included in that brochure about this program as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if it's just a referral to us, that's helping to support.
Absolutely. Or here's the link to the website, fill out this survey and you're included in our program as well.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, I think we've reached 8 o'clock. Cliff, are you able to communicate with us? And would you like to wrap us up and tell us about our next speaker?
I think so. Can you hear me? Is my audio okay? Okay, well, thanks so much, Tom. It's been really great to hear your presentation, and it's really exciting. And I'm really hoping that Rebecca and Gretchen and all of us can really make a green downtown Lexington. And hopefully we can have our board maybe agree to be, for RACC, to be an associated sustaining or supporting member of your organization. So it's been very, very helpful. Thank you very much, Tom.
Yeah,
folks, for our next presentation next month, November, and that's going to be November 10th, same day, Wednesday, same time frame, 7 to 8. We're going to have Bob Parks, who's an expert on dark sky, and his title of the talk is Dark Skies and Community-Friendly Lighting. And he is a consultant, a very well-known consultant on lighting, community lighting. And he will be able to share his expertise with us on how we might improve and build on our wonderful dark sky situation that we do have here, and we don't want to lose it. And so it's going to be kind of exciting to hear from Bob. He's a nationally known and actually internationally known expert on the topic. So without any further ado, I'll turn it back to Barbara, and good night, everybody. And thanks so much for attending.
Yes, thank you, everybody, for coming.